Hello again and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. And today, I think it's the start of a new era. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think after all these years, after 18 years of having this channel, I think I'm going to try and experiment, and I'm going to finally start to soliciting subscribers. Yes, every YouTuber does it. I think I'm the last one to do it. I've been talking about this for like a year with my friend Dallas, kind of on and off. You know how everybody says, hey, don't forget to subscribe and like and leave a comment and ring the bell for notifications. And I've never once done that. But maybe I should try. I feel like I've earned that I should at least try. Like I said, it's been 18 years. So please, hello, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you are already subscribed, thank you. And maybe you should like the video. I appreciate that people watch it, and I know there are not too many people that watch it. And I know I'm a blip or a dot in the YouTube world, but I would like to build the channel a little bit more, and maybe I'll make better content. I don't know, but I feel like I should try. Like I said, if nothing else, for an experiment. So please subscribe and watch and really like it. I think people say that helps. I don't know. I want to see. But thank you if you do. Thank you. And leave a comment about anything. I feel like I'm desperate, like I'm selling myself, like I'm whoring myself. But I just want to try and see what happens. Thank you. Maybe I'll do this spiel every time. But today I'm going to talk about, I did Black Sabbath Past Lives, I guess a few weeks ago, and I mentioned that there were 5, I think I said I had 4 or 5 more live albums coming up. Then I went back and counted, and I was wrong. I had 8. Well, today is one of those 8, and it is Y&T. I don't have to hold up the record because I'm holding the shirt, but I will hold up the record for a double effect. It's Y&T Open Fire. This is one of the 8 live albums that I've got coming up. Leave a comment down below if you think you can predict. I think at least probably 4 of them are considered like classic live albums, and then there are 3 that are maybe not so classic, but I like them. So leave your guesses down below. Sorry, I just dropped something when I picked Y&T Open Fire up. Now this is the first time I've talked about Y&T, and so I'll talk about my history with them. I'll put this down here. Now I've only seen Y&T live once, and that was 39 years ago. That was October 18th, 1985, and I just realized I should have had my ticket stub, but I forgot to get it out. And they were opening for Motley Crue on the Theater of Pain tour, October 18th, 1985 at Toronto at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. That was the only time I've seen them. As far as I know, they never played Toronto after that. There were a couple of bands like that just never came around Toronto. I saw Rat opening for Ozzy in '84, and then I know Rat came. That was in April '84. Rat came back in September '84, later that year, and then never came back again. I think until like Jizzy Pearl was in the band, when even I didn't care about Rat, and I'm the biggest Rat fan there is. Yeah, I don't know why, but Y&T never came around Toronto. And I was never a big fan, but they're one of these bands, I talked about this kind of with Dead Kennedys, that I wish I were into more, and I want to get into more. Because I really like Y&T. When I listen to them, I think, yeah, this is a band I really should like more than I do and should be into more than I am. So more specifically, in addition to seeing them just the one time opening for Motley Crue, October 18th, 1985, as far as I can remember, this was the first Y&T record I ever got, Open Fire, live. And then I had they had this, if you know Y&T, they had the best of 81 to 85. A band could never do that now because no band puts out enough records to justify a live album after only a 4-year period. But they had the best of 81 to 85. Just had that weird album cover that I always thought was kind of strange. I had that. And then I never got I had the live album and a compilation album. And again, as far as I can remember, never had a regular studio album by Y&T until Contagious. It was Contagious in 1987. I didn't have In Rock We Trust, which was kind of their breakthrough album. I didn't, and then the one after that was, although I did know most of the songs from that album. I had them. I've mentioned this, God, so many times. I used to tape these metal shows on the radio, and I knew, Life, 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 and Masters and Slave, and Don't Stop Running. There was a video for Don't Stop Running, but just never got that record. And then Down for the Count, I don't even know one song from that album. Summertime Girls, which is on this, was on Down for the Count. And then for some reason I got Contagious, and then 10. Contagious was 87, 10 I think was 89 or 90. And then that was it. So I only ever got 2 studio albums, which were pretty far removed from what I guess most people would consider classic Y&T, which was Mean Streak, Black Tiger, maybe Earthshaker, the first Y&T record. Now I did have a friend that I've mentioned many times, Jeff Simpsons. He was a pretty big Y&T fan, and so I knew some of the songs from Mean Streak and Black Tiger from him, and some of those are on here. At least a couple of them are on here. But that's it. So my Y&T history, it's long, but it's not very deep. And like I said, when I listen to them now, I think, man, Y&T is awesome. I would love to see. It's never going to happen. Y&T is never going to come to Mexico. I know they don't play too many shows. They're not, I think, like a real touring band. I think they just play weekend shows. Like so many of the bands from that era now, they're just playing, festivals and summer shows and weekend fly-in shows, things like that. So I have zero hope of ever seeing Y&T, though I would really love to. So that's my pretty brief Y&T history. Now this album specifically, Open Fire, even though I always thought it was kind of a weird album because it feels almost more like an EP. It's only 8 songs, although it is, proper length. It's, I guess, 40 or 45 minutes, somewhere around there. And so in terms of length, it's long enough. 8 songs, well, I guess it was okay at that time. But I think the not so much the problem with this record, but the thing that was a little bit weird for me, similar to Black Sabbath Past Lives that I talked about a few weeks ago, it wasn't taken from one show. To me, a live album, the great live albums, and I maybe could find some examples to disprove that theory, it should be like a snapshot of that show or of that tour. Live After Death, Worldwide Live, Kiss Alive, I don't know, and some of the other ones that I'm going to be talking about later, they also fit in the same category as Y&T. They're just a single show an album not from a single show, but I guess some are, from a single show, but not a full show because they're just one record. And Black Sabbath Past Lives, it's long, it's like 18 songs, but it was taken not just from different shows, but different tours, different eras, just like a collage of songs. Open Fire, as far as I remember, was taken from 3 shows. One was in somewhere in Northern California, and then maybe a couple of other ones were taken from a different Northern California show, and I think some shows in England. This was taken from. I don't know. I would have to look at the liner notes. So I don't remember exactly. And the other thing that made it strange was of the 8 songs, one is a studio song, Summertime Girls. And I'll get to Summertime Girls, what I think about Summertime Girls. You can make your guesses what you think I think about Summertime Girls. So 8 songs, only 7 of them were live. And also the placement of Summertime Girls was kind of strange. You'd think if it's a live album and you're going to put a new song on there, either put it as the first song or the last song. But they put it on the first song of side 2, which again I thought was odd. It kind of broke up the flow of the concert, even though it wasn't a full concert. That's what I think about Open Fire. But I will say, I think every version of the songs on this album, just like Kiss Alive, are better than the studio versions. I don't know how much doctoring was done on this. There is one, maybe 2 songs in particular that if I remember them when I do the track by track, that I can kind of point that out. Now something else about Y&T, when I saw them at that show opening for Motley Crue, October 18th, 1985, something that I noticed, God, this was 39 years ago, and I remember, I was sitting at the side of the stage, so I could see, I was looking at the stage like this, perpendicular, I guess, and I could see behind the stage. And I remember, and I'm not calling them out for this, there's nothing wrong with it, but I noticed even 39 years ago, there was somebody, and it would have been staged right. So to me, it was left. I could see a guy, there was a singing the backing vocals off stage. Again, I'm not calling them out, I guess. So even back then, bands were doing that. But there are a couple of songs on here that sound like they were doctored or maybe even studio, faked in the studio, I'm not sure. Or maybe just Y&T is really, really good and they sound like it. As I said, when I get to the 2 tracks, I'll try to remember to point that out. If I don't point that out, you might know what they are if you're familiar with this record. So, having said all that, I will get into it track by track. And this is probably my favorite Y&T album. And another thing that's strange about this, there was not one song from here from In Rock We Trust. So In Rock We Trust came out in 84, and this was, the one that came out after that. And typically when bands put out a live album, like Scorpions Worldwide Live, which was 85 from the 84 tour, 84 album. Iron Maiden Live After Death, also 85 from the 84 album. They featured heavily from that tour, and there's not one song on here that is from In Rock We Trust. There is one that, although it wasn't on in Rock, I think it wasn't on In Rock We Trust originally. I think they just played it live and never put it on the album. Well, it definitely wasn't on the album now. I think maybe it was later, a studio version of it was reissued. So nothing from In Rock We Trust here, which was kind of strange because, as I said, In Rock We Trust was kind of their breakthrough album, so you'd think they would want to feature it at this point. And I said that was all. I'm going to go through this track by track now, but I'll also add, why didn't, and you could ask this about many bands, and everybody, we metal fans love to say, they should have been bigger. Why weren't they bigger? Y&T to me seems like a band that should have been, I don't like saying that they should have been bigger, but you kind of wonder why they weren't bigger than they were. They wrote great songs, very catchy songs. Maybe just didn't have the look. Back then, especially looks were very, very important. And the drummer, Leonard Hayes, and by the way, it's Dave Meniketti, Leonard Hayes, Joey Alves, and Phil Kenmore. They've all died except Dave Meniketti. He's the only one still alive. You don't like to speak ill of the deceased, but Leonard Hayes, back then, girls that were into this music, they liked guys that looked like Vince Neil and Robin Crosby and I don't know who else, guys like that. Mike Tramp. Leonard Hayes, the drummer, he didn't look like those guys. So, and it sounds bad, but really that was a big, big thing back then. Looks were a big thing, but good for Y&T that they, they never changed. They had this lineup for quite some time. Who knows? Maybe I'm talking out of my ass, as people like to say. So getting to this record now, it starts with Open Fire, classic opener. So far, somehow, I've managed to keep control. Well, it's time to set them balls free to roll. Save it all up for the right time to let it go, go, go. Fair warning, be ready. I'm gonna explode. All week long, working hard to what we do. And when I get it up, gonna spend some time with you. And Y&T had great licks. Dave Meniketti, I don't know if he played all the lead guitars or if Joey Alves played guitar too, but they had great licks. These little things that bands like this used to do back then. Just these little, not solos, but just these little licks. Rat was great at that. Warren D. Martin and Robin Crosby. Yeah, man, Open Fire is an awesome song, and I like this version. It's just more energetic than the studio version that opens Black Tiger. Black Tiger! Well, that's To the Moon and then Open Fire. Next is, this is a new one, all right, this is a new one. This is Go for the Throat. Now, this is the one, that was Dave Meniketti's introduction here. It's all right, here's a new one, yeah. This is the one that Go for the Throat, it was not on In Rock We Trust, although it was later added as a studio track. And this is the one that I swear, there's got to be some kind of sweetening or help on this. You gotta go, 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 go. And those backing vocals, it sounds like there's about 200 people singing, go. And I'm sure that was added in the studio after. Doesn't change the fact, and I don't mind that so much. And I said I'm not calling Y&T out for that. But Go for the Throat, I love that song. Come a little closer so you understand. Well, I'm gonna be your loving man. Talk is cheap, it's all over town. I know the reason why you're hanging around. The heat is on, but you're acting cool. Gonna break it to you. Here's some news for you. You got to go for the throat. Love that song. Oh, and I didn't show I should talk a little bit about the record. And God, I should have done this earlier. I got this at El Chopo, must have been about a year ago. And I got it for free. I traded it. I had, I think, 2 copies of Motorhead Inferno. And there was a seller there at El Chopo. And he had this, and I asked him if he would trade my brand new copy of Motorhead Inferno for this. And he said, yeah, this is pretty much mint condition. This is essentially like a brand new album. It's in impeccable shape. There's no wear whatsoever on any of the corners. I'm sure the real record, these people, the record snobs that have their nose in the air, they would find many flaws with this. As far as used records go, especially in Mexico, this is as good as it gets. And I think part of the reason for that is this is a Japanese version. And I've got a couple records. I did Keel, The Final Frontier. That came from, it's the other Keel record that I haven't done yet that came from Japan that's in amazing condition. Japanese people, I guess, really take care of their stuff. So this is, it came in the plastic sleeve. And I guess at least the Japanese version, my version that I had obviously wasn't like this. So it was like this, it's got the collage and another collage and the credits there. But now the Japanese version, and I'm sure it's only the Japanese version, that has the lyrics. Kind of unusual for a live album to have the lyrics, but this also has a significant amount of text in Japanese, which I will have to translate. I have to brush up on my Japanese. It's not quite good enough to read all this. But yeah, this is in excellent shape. This is how a record should be packaged. Pictures and lyrics, credits. I love it. So getting back to this, the next song is something from yesterday and today. 25 hours a day. This has such a great kind of a groove, it's kind of like a boogie song where you took me and you loved me like I never been loved before. You took me and squeezed me like I never been squeezed before. Yeah, man, 25 hours a day, great song. I think this was on the Hearing Aid. Remember Ronnie James Dio did that Hearing Aid record with Dave Meniketti was on there. Vince Neil, Kevin DuBrow, Blackie Lawless, Don Dokken, Jeff Tate, all those guys. And Motorhead on the Road, which was Built for Speed, later on Orgasmatron. And then it was called On the Road. It was a live version, was on that Hearing Aid Stars record. And 25 hours a day was on there. I'm almost positive. Or was it, I think it was 25 hours. Maybe it was Go for the Throat. I don't remember now. Next is Rescue Me. Now, this is one of these songs that, I knew it at the time. As I said, I knew this record in 1985. I had it, but I never knew in all these years until I started listening to it again somewhat recently that Rescue Me, especially the live version, the studio version, which is on Black Tiger, not as much, but this live version really, really, really is reminiscent of Fade to Black. Now, the original version of Rescue Me came out in, I guess, must have been 82 on Black Tiger. So I'm not saying that Y&T ripped off Metallica, because that's impossible, because this Rescue Me came out before Fade to Black. And I'm not saying that Metallica ripped off Y&T, at least not intentionally. But I do remember Lars talking about singing the praises of Y&T. Lars was a big Y&T fan at some point. I think before he started Metallica, he talked about going to see them in bars and things like that. But yeah, the intro of Y&T, of Rescue Me, kind of a quiet guitar, and just the lead that during that quiet part really, really, really is very, very reminiscent of Fade to Black. Love it. I was down, I was barely making it. I was down, I was barely making it. Love that song. And then, I want you. I said, I want you. And I want you to rescue rescue me. Dun, 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 dun. Then it rocks, then it gets rough, as Paul Stanley says. And I reference that all the time. Paul Stanley going from the intro to Rock Bottom into the song Rock Bottom on MTV Unplugged. Now it gets rough. Y&T, Rescue Me, then it gets rough. Love that song. Great, just a really good example of what Y&T is. Excellent song. Now the second side, the first song on the second side, of course, is Summertime Girls. All right. What do you think? And you can leave a comment if you want. Maybe you won't have time. Maybe you can type it now. What do you think that I think about Summertime Girls? Now, I've talked before about how I can't stand the keyboards that are all over Crazy Nights by Kiss, especially on Turn on the Night. They just sound so happy and sappy and light and fluffy, and I just hate them so much. Summertime Girls has equally happy, sappy, fluffy, light, melodic keyboards, but Summertime Girls might be my favorite song of the 80s. Oh my God, at least from this genre of music, from bands like Y&T and Keel and Twisted Sister and Rat and Lita Ford and Dio and Queensryche and all those bands. Oh man, I couldn't and still can't get enough of Summertime Girls. It's one back then and now that I just can't listen to less than twice. I listen to it and then I have to listen to it again. Sometimes I listen to it a third time, possibly a fourth time. And I'm not exaggerating. I just was and still am obsessed with Summertime Girls. It's very, very poppy, very not poppy. It's a pop rock song. It's very, now this is one song because there was a bonus. I think on the CD version of this, there's two bonus tracks: Black Tiger and Summertime Girls. And that's an exception to what I said about every song on this record. The live version is better than the studio version. Well, Summertime Girls doesn't really count because the live version was a bonus. But the studio version of Summertime Girls is just perfection. It's a great summer song. The video was awesome. The video was played everywhere. It's just perfection. That song is perfection. Y&T also did an acoustic record quite a while ago, 6 or 7 years ago, called Acoustic Classics. They spelled classics with an X on the end. And they did an acoustic version of Summertime Girls. I like that equally as much as the studio version, which is pretty tough to do because I love the studio version. It's just, it's the best song ever. Summertime Girls is fantastic. Anytime, play it at the beach, play it in your car, play it in the winter, play it when you're eating, play it when you're exercising, play it when you're feeling down, play it when you're in a good mood. Summertime Girls is the perfect song for any occasion. I love it. It's the best. Yes, Summertime Girls. Next is Forever. Forever. This is another one. Like similar to Rescue Me. It starts kind of mellow. I'm distracted by my cat, and she's distracted by something. It sounds, lyrically and by the intro, it sounds like it might be a ballad, but it's not. This I would say, this is like maybe Y&T's most real heavy metal song. This could be musically, Forever could be Iron Maiden. I think this has become kind of their one of their signature songs. Forever is a great song, real heavy metal, real. No, this is the other one that had the backing vocals live on this song that I'm sure were either piped in or added in the studio ever. Falling, ooh, well I'm falling, ooh. There's no way, I don't think that three guys can make that sound live. I don't know. And again, I don't care because I love Forever. Next is Barroom Boogie. Man, I love this song too. The intro, the drum intro with the cowbell, reminds me of Peter Criss's drum solo in 100,000 Years from Alive. What is the lyric of Barroom Boogie? It was getting real late. I was getting real legless. I was feeling no pain. So playing barroom games, rating all the women from 1 to 10. I said, "Hey bartender, set them up again." What's the first? I was getting real nervous. I was feeling no pain. Checking out all the women playing barroom games, rating all the women from 1 to 10. I said, bartender set him up again. Well, come on, have a drink on me, cut loose. Make it a double, please, I think is what it is. A woman so fine caused a sexual crime. Da-da-na, da-da-na. A woman so fine caused a sexual crime. And there's a lyric change in this. In the studio version on Black Tiger, he sings it as, Dave Meniketti sings it as, unless it's, I guess it's kind of in a third person speaking, or is it first person? It's a woman saying, unless you're a star and got a PhD, I got lots of money, honey, don't you talk to me. But in the live version, he sings from the woman's point of view, unless you're a star and into Y&T, I got lots of money, honey, don't you talk to me. Nice little lyric change there, referencing themselves. I said, what? Excuse me, I said, what? Was that any better? I don't know. Come on. Have a drink on me. Yeah. Hey, little sweetie, can I buy you a drink? And she ordered everything but the kitchen sink. Well, I thought I got me an investment here. Then her, and this song lyrically reminds me of, well, I guess the other song reminded me because it came out in '89, Teasin' Pleasin' by Dangerous Toys. Lyrically, especially this verse, and what is it? Make sure I get it right. Asked her, little sweetie, can I buy you a drink? Well, she ordered everything but the kitchen sink. So I figured I got me an investment here. That's right. When, King Kong's, the lyrics are not here for this part, but I think it's when King Kong's double appears, which reminds me of Dangerous Toys. Gee, mister, I didn't know she was your wife. Hey, let's just shake on it. We'll call it even, eh? Yeah, anyway, Barroom Boogie, great, very fun song. Very typical of the music at this time. I think why a lot of people love this kind of music, and looking back on it, why a lot of people think this kind of music is silly. Those people are incorrect. This music is fucking awesome. Y&T is great, and other bands of that era. And just one more song, which is I Believe in You. Now this is, I guess, the closest to a ballad on the record, but it ends really long too. I think it's 8 minutes, 9. How long is I Believe in You? I believe in. It doesn't say on here. It's got to be 8 minutes for sure. And it's probably, I hate to say it, but it's probably my least favorite on the album. And it's not bad, and I do like it, but it just, maybe because it's the last song, I've maybe kind of lost focus a little bit. Although it does have some great guitar throughout it. I Believe in You. And Twisted Sister later, the next year. No, I guess it was the same year, 85. They had a song called I Believe in You on Come Out and Play, which I talked about 6 months ago maybe. But yeah, I Believe in You. I like it. I mean, you have to have a least favorite, and I Believe in You is my least favorite, but I feel like I could listen to guitar throughout that song 25 hours a day. And that's all. I need to, what about Mike? Oh, how could I forget about Mike Pratt? Mike, you must love Y&T. I'm sure if you're familiar enough with him, you love them, but I feel like this may be a band for Mike, because we have some similar tastes, some really dissimilar or unsimilar, let's say different tastes, that's the word. I feel like maybe Mike Pratt feels the same way about Y&T as I do, that he likes them, but just needs to get more into them. Mike, tell me what you think. Leave a comment down below. And that's all. Thank you for watching. And as I said, please, I think I'll see if it would help me out if you subscribe, if you like the video. And I don't know if I'll continue to say that, but I want to try this as an experiment. And that is all for today. Thank you again. And this is a really good album. This is Y&T Open Fire.